Teruvan Saranai Arana, may I pay homage at your feet? Teruvan Saranai, everyone. The Lord Buddha has showed us a way out of suffering. The path to Nibbana is a simple and pleasant story. As our spiritual guidance teacher, Buddhotpado Aryan Mahanse explains to the world, you should not take this as a heavy burden. We make it unpleasant due to the desire and clinging, tanha, upadana, to attain nibbana. This itself is a hindrance or a nivarana. As I said earlier, this is a very pleasant path. If you listen to Buddhotpada sermons with an attentive mind, you will definitely realize it. In almost every sutras, Lord Buddha says how the mind is created and how we suffer due to an illusion and a path to get rid of suffering. So in Jati Dhamma Sutra and Mahanidana Sutra, Lord Buddha explains how a newborn baby comes to this world without any knowledge, and also explains that the newborn baby's mind is very pure, without any trace of defilements. The wisdom of Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnane is the time when mind is created and the child learns to identify the world or create his own world. Usually this happens at the Montessori time when he was shown a picture and given a sound. Now the Chittena Niyati Loko happens. So now we can identify objects because we were shown the pictures and given a sound to the particular object. In a way, we are living in the past always, isn't it? But we have to understand that Lord Buddha has preached Akalika Dhamma. So what we have now is only the present moment. Who is a Buddhist? Buddhist is the one who sees that there is no thing in this moment. Nothing exists in a thought. That is the wisdom of Chuttupapata Jnane. That is when one sees the truth that the moment a thought arises and it ceases immediately. So we cannot say that the past existed. If so, we could say that the newborn baby comes to the world with the past knowledge, isn't it? The newborn baby has a pure mind. His thoughts creates later. Did you know a book existed when you were born? No, you didn't. Actually, even though we say it's a book, it was formed with colors and forms which was introduced to us in the childhood. Now we recognize it as a book in our mind consciousness. It's due to a telepathy system, but all are vibrations. When these vibrations ignites over and over again, trillions of times, it gives us the dimensional feel to that image. Recognize it as a book and as it is really in front of us. This image of a book is created similar to an image of on a film of a camera. The continuous sparks gives us the feeling like it is true. The sound and the color comes together to form a thought. When the sound of the book comes, the image comes automatically to the mind. Likewise, when the image comes to the mind, the sound automatically comes to the mind. When you accept and believe what you see outside is true, the book is born. So if we take the baby's mind, first there are less sparks, and later more and more sparks. A collection of many sparks, which gives a bigger current. So we will see how this mind power is created. So the repeated sparks renews all the time, gives more and more power. This speed gives us a feeling of me, a self-identity. I am here, I exist, this is my child, this is my mother, this is my father, my sisters, my house, my car, and so on. But here, what we have to realize is that what we believe as exist does not exist at all. We think I exist, I am real, but it's only a thought. Everything we experience is an illusion or a vijnana maya. This illusion takes place at this very moment, and this keeps renewing itself all the time, and it goes forward. So, do you realize that we live in a world of thoughts? We don't understand this, do we? Now, the baby in the cot, the radiant mind, he also sees something. He also hears something, feels something, tastes something, and smells something. The senses are working, vibrating. Still, the mind is not created. So, he does not have any defilements. So, when he starts Montessori, now slowly the world is created with sounds and colors. And also the soul or me also created. Now he lives in his own automatically created world, three-dimensional world. The world created by his senses. As human beings, we have the three-dimensional view, but various types of animals have their own sensor systems. Say the cockroach has feelers as sensors to identify the vibrations. The dogs can hear far better than humans, and they can smell far better than us. Cats have night vision. Their eyes can focus far better in the dark. Their whiskers also act as radar sensors. They also have a great sense of smell and hearing. If you take serpents, they possess a unique sensory system detecting infrared radiation, and they generate thermal images. And if you take a worm, they usually live underground, as you know, and they have skin sensors. They have only skin sensors, but a new study has shown that they have a microscopic antenna-shaped sensor which helps them to orient themselves underground. So if you take a bee, for example, they have temperature and humidity sensors. which we don't have. So also they can see the ultraviolet spectrum, which humans cannot. And cows have a limited range of colors. They see red color. A fly has a compound eye. Unlike a human eye, it has lots of individual lenses. So likewise, each type of animal, each animal experience the world according to its senses. So as we talk about humans, this is the story of our life, how our world is created. So if your eyes are open, the seen world is created. If you close your eyes, your mind sensor is at work. If you sleep, also your mind sensor is still working, unless you are in deep sleep. Say you wanted to buy something so badly, say a pretty frock or a handbag, but you did not have enough money to buy it. And in a dream, you might be wearing the same frock or carrying the same bag. So it comes up as real, isn't it? Sometimes when you wake up, still you feel the dream. So sometimes you cry, sometimes you laugh, sometimes you get scared, run, fall, or scream, all in a dream. The reality is that although we think it's just a dream, still in the real sense, we all are living in a dream, a fantasy, in an illusion. All are mental formation, versional formations or chittarupa. That's you call heenenuත් අපි හීන දකිනවා, හැබැහිනුත් අපි හීන දකිනවා. Actually both are same. Especially if you watch too much television, watch too many teledramas, watch too much films or gossips, everything will be ended up as versional formations. The more you do that, the more the power is generating. So even in the sleep, your mind cannot rest because all the never-ending thoughts comes to the mind repeatedly. Sometimes some people plan the next day, the future, or things of the past, or watch television, or watch the phone before sleep. It is as a habit they do. But as the body, the mind needs a rest too. It's very important to give a rest to the mind. Some people try to do concentration meditation, but it's effective for some extent. But if you understand this true Dhamma, the dependent origination Dhamma, or the Satya Jnana, how the mind is created and how we suffer due to something that even does not exist, it will be the hardest but the most effective therapy you might get. We are trying to catch something which is not even existing. That is why it is called the Sambhuta Dhamma. Always when the cause is there, the effect arises. Hetum paticca sambhuta. Just like when you peep into the mirror, only you see your image. As soon as you move out, the image disappears. Can you catch the image in the mirror? This is the wonder of this Dhamma. The more you contemplate, the more you go deep into this Dhamma, then more you want to seek. The more you seek, the more you become silent. Awaken to the silence. Awaken to the moment. Lord Buddha has always appreciated the solitude. You find this solitude or the Uttarita Hudakalawa when one don't get any stimuli from any sense. Salayatana Nirodho Nibbana. Now that is where we are heading to, isn't it? So if we go back to the radiant mind, we cannot say that the baby's mind is yet created. The senses are working. So he does not have any defilements, no fire within, no hatred, no jealousy, no clinging, just very pure, just like a white cloth. But still the baby has the shastrava or the gum or the glue. So once he starts Montessori, the pure white cloth will start to get dirty with defilements. So it's very important to teach them good qualities of a human being since childhood. Being kind, sharing, respecting, even to pay attention to people's facial expressions, how to treat others, friends, elders, not to be rude, kindness, empathy, think before they do something, how to become a good listener, to help others, how to become a good leader, leadership qualities, and so on. And when the child is bigger, can also explain that everything is in the mind. So when he grows up, actually he will become a better human being to the society, isn't it? He won't become a burden to the society. As we know, the life is a bunch of habits. So the abhisankarana or the repeated volitional formations plays an important role in the mind creation in the childhood. So as I said, the early childhood plays a very important role. This is where the ego or me also created. So it's very important to teach children since young age not to hold grudges and forgive and forget. Often when they do something wrong, help them not to judge other people, behave and respect others' opinions. That is a must. You can get enough examples by looking at our country because of these attitudes and ego of some people. So actually, the bookish knowledge is not enough. One has to be practical in life, should have good qualities of life, especially to become a leader. One should have good qualities in himself, isn't it? He should be a role model. Also, should come out of mithya drushti or false beliefs. We have true Dhamma, isn't it? In Sri Lanka, we have true Dhamma now. So these are the basic things in life, good qualities. Why did Sunita Sopaka understood Dhamma? which is everything is a mind creation, because they did not have any false visions or false views or misconceptions at that age. So it was very easy for them to come to the correct path or samadhi. Likewise, the young generation too should see this Dhamma. Nobody realizes the Nibbana without having the wisdom of recollection of the past minds or Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnane, and also without hearing the three deep wisdoms. So, as I mentioned, some small children also get this wisdom without effort. Without effort. It is impossible to become a stream mentor or Sotapanna without gaining these three wisdoms. Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnane, Chutupapata Jnane, and Asavakshaya Jnane. The path to Nibbana, as our spiritual guidance teacher tells, is a very simple one. If one is trying so hard to climb a mountain, but after climbing is not scared because he knows that he is in a plane, which is very safe. Until he climbs to the top, only has fear, difficulties, and tiredness. This type of example can be related to the path to Nibbana. Now you know, Pubbe Nivasana Sutyane is to know how the mind is created in a child, the first mind with sounds and forms. So the Chutupapata Jnana is to see the arising and disappearing of a thought. It is also known as the awakening to the moment. The mind does not awaken to the moment without having the wisdom of recollection of the past mind or Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. Asravakshaya Jnana is when you feel that your defilements are fading. Once you have properly understood how the mind is created and contemplate on that, Asravakshaya Jnana happens. The defilements start to fade away. So now we know that the infant, at the time he comes out from the mother's womb, is also a natural phenomena, according to Vata Sutra. He doesn't know anything. He does not know even whether he is born or not. Nor does he know, he doesn't have anger, jealousy, or hatred. Even though we put a gold panchayudaya around his neck, as we usually do, he does not know what is it. Even in the childhood, he does not give a value to that thing. He does not value anything. Sometimes he might throw away that panchayudaya and run away because he doesn't give it a value. There are no attachments, no values. The whole formations or sabba sankara does not happen. In Jati Dhamma Sutra, you can listen to this actually. Anyone can listen to these sutras explained clearly by our spiritual guidance teacher in Buddhotpado YouTube, www.buddhotpadodhamma.com. It's very important to go through these sutras so you can understand more. So as I said, in Jati Dhamma Sutra, Lord Buddha said, Skandhanam Patibhavo, Ayatananam Patilabho, Ayang Uchati, Jati. The origination of or formation of the five faculties are called the jati or birth. Lord Buddha said, monks, the birth is the birth of the I, birth of the faculty or the ayatana is the birth. So the aramula or the thought which comes to one of your senses, either eye, ear, nose, tongue, or skin. And if you take it as a thing, that is the birth of that sensor. Example, if you see a cat and if the cat becomes a thing to you, or you get the alive feeling that the cat is really there and thoughts are created along the cat, then you are born in the eye sensor. Ase upatai upata. You identify the cat with a kind of telepathy system, which means when you were a child, you were introduced to a picture and a sound. Ubbe Nivasanasati Jnane. That maybe happened in your Montessori time. So that tallies now to the image of the cat, and you identify it as a cat. In different countries, they give different names to the cat, so we don't know those creations. So Chuttupapata Jnana is when we see that how that thought is made, how the thought was created at this moment due to the spark in speed, just momentarily, and it vanishes as soon as it appears. So to see if we got attached or disattached to that thought is the Ashraksha Jnana. Usually when we see this one thought, automatically the defilements will start to fade and there won't be any value given to that thought. With the defilements, the ego and the soul feeling also starts to diminish. If someone is interested, you can also listen to sermons on deep wisdom or Abhijna Deshana on Buddhotpado YouTube. It's very difficult to go on this path without knowing the Ubbe Nivasanasatu Jnana, or the how the first mind is created. And all these years, we were in the false belief that Ubbe Nivasanasati Jnana comes from past life, isn't it? So, what is life or living? Life is only a sanya abhisankarne, or repetition of perceptions. So, where the birth or jati started? The birth or jati is the birth of the I, or the birth of the book, or whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel is the birth. The seen is the eye. Here we don't talk about the flesh eye. Even dead body has a flesh eye, isn't it? But we can't see. Why? Because there are no vibrations, no mind creations. The ability to see is a vibration of a faculty. Example, Chakku Vinyane. So we will take an example. Actually, it is raining now. So when I said raining, the mental image or a chittarupa of raining created in your mind, isn't it? So does the infant knows what is raining? No, because still he does not have that data. But he also hears some sound. But for us, when we hear the sound or when the ear vibrates, we identify it as the sound of the rain. Because we were introduced to that image with a sound called rain. So with its mental image or chittarupa, automatically create thoughts, which is like, how can I go out? Where is my umbrella? Where did I keep it? Or did I lose it? And so on. So imagine now it is thundering and lightning. Does the infant know it is thundering or lightning? No, isn't it? That's because though the senses were, the mind is not created yet. But for us, with thundering and lightning comes the fear. Because we know now that people can get electrocuted and die. So we take precautions to avoid it, isn't it? But a child might be playing outside in the rain. But if we see that, we tell them to come inside and put rubber slippers and we off the switches. Likewise, we have a lot to do. But the child might prefer to be in the rain. And here we have to educate the child with safety measures too, isn't it? So, what I wanted to emphasize here is that how we identify the rain. If we touch, it is some drops of water. But now the eye is created. Someone might say, I am afraid of lightning. I am afraid of thundering. So if the current goes, I am scared of darkness, and so on. Actually, what happens here is that some senses are at work. We can practice Dhamma here too, isn't it? Eye sees, but not I see. Ear hears, but not I hear. Mind identifies, but not I think, and so on. So imagine it is dark, no current. No, now can you see? No, isn't it? It is because the eye sensor does not work at this moment. No vibrations. But if it is raining still, the ear sensor is working, vibrating. And the mind sensor also vibrating. And you know that it is still raining. So likewise, in every incident, you can identify the sensors. So even during that raining time, if you are contemplating on Dhamma, you could have done some household work without the I-ness. So this Dhamma is wonderful, isn't it? Sometimes the rain must have stopped by that time. even without your knowing. You must have experiences like this, isn't it? So now we will try to identify this I-ness. To identify I-ness, one should have a clear understanding of the senses. So you can identify this I-ness at the sensor level. Eye sensor, ear sensor, nose sensor, tongue sensor, skin sensor, and the mind sensor. Try to catch the I-ness at the eye sensor level. If you get attached to someone you see or hate something, say something you hear, something you taste, you can get attached or disattached. That's where you can catch the I-ness. You can't find it anywhere else. Lord Buddha asked, is the I permanent? The bhikkhus replied, impermanent, Bhante. If the I is impermanent, it is suffering, isn't it? Therefore, can it be taken as self? Lord Buddha has preached a non-soul Dhamma. So identify the soul whenever it happens or whenever it appears. For example, you can be a professional, a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, or anyone, a housewife, anyone. But when you go out, say marketing, shopping, if you keep your professions in the mind, that is the soul or the ego. As our spiritual guidance teacher, Buddhotpada Arana points out, the mind is a bunch of habits or abhisankarne. ජීවත් වෙනවා කියන්නේ අபிසංකරණය. Repetitive thoughts. With that comes the power or the mind power. Power of thoughts. The physical body gets the power to do actions with this generated power. It is the mind power. This is very important. The body works according to the mind power. So more power to the thoughts, more power to the body. This is a process, a system. Happens naturally. So you should understand this very clearly. For example, if you take a robo system, it also has eyes, ears, nose, and so on. It also has a body. When you give a current, it starts to work. It can sit, it can walk, it can run. It works due to that power. Human body also is like that. If you take a motor car, when the car runs, the battery charges, isn't it? Or another example, like we can get electricity from solar power. So likewise, human body is a machine. Only due to that power, we can lift our arms, run, walk, talk, and do lots of actions. This mind power generates in the system itself. It's a natural phenomena. If you had recurrent thoughts since childhood of becoming a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a politician, an engineer, these thoughts gains more power, and obviously you will end up becoming a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or a politician, and so on. Also, in the other way, if someone from childhood was neglected, not loved, abused, not appreciated, not respected, that child will obviously hate the entire society. And later in life, he can become a drug addict, alcoholic, sociopath, even he can kill someone with that generated mind power. In the other hand, if we show love, respect, kindness, appreciate, and encourage our children since childhood, when they grow up, they can become good human beings. That also happens in the Abhisankarana system or the repetitive thought system, which helps him to become a good citizen, a good leader, a good human being, not to steal, not to lie, not to harm others, and so on. Not to harm the society, but to help it. We know the story of two parrots, isn't it? So, what I wanted to emphasize here is that as adults, when we raise children, we have to behave and should be a good example for them. The base should be how to become a good human being. Then, even recognizing Dhamma also will be easy, isn't it? So, we were talking about mind power. So, this mind power makes one feel the alive feeling or the ittabhava, which is a vibration itself, which happens with the speed. And the same vibration converts to another set of vibrations of soul feeling or the Atma Bhava, Ittabhava to Atma Bhava. This is a natural phenomena, a niyama dhamma. This is how the Atma Kampana or the soul vibration creates. It happens automatically within the system. It's actually a science. If this power is not generating, the physical body cannot work. Without the mind power, the physical body can't function. It's like a dead body. So when we understand this system, the process, the natural phenomena, what happens is this mind power begins to diminish. Without the mind power, the physical body is like a piece of wood. So till the last breath, the system works due to the power it gets from the senses. If the death happens, the body starts to cool because the power is no more there. So when a newborn baby comes to the world, with the first cry, a small energy creates automatically. The senses start to work. Or in other words, the machine starts to work. But at first, it has a very small current or a power. The baby can do some small actions because the mind is still not created. Later, when the thoughts creates, the power also starts to generate. But the baby has the gum or the glue or the Shastra Swabhave or the vibration. That's why when we give a phone to the hand, he grabs it. And when we try to take it from him, he starts to cry. So, what you have to understand is that this is a process. This machine works till the last breath. With age, you collect more and more power by being attached to things. Sometimes you attach to even to heaven. As I said, this is a process and it automatically collects objects or things. This is how it gets updated. Nibbana is when this turns the other way around. When you get detached from material things as well as your close people, then no fire within, no defilements. More the mind power, more the defilements. So life is so limited. Death can happen at any time. We tend to think of it as something for the future, usually quite distant. To make it real, we need to understand that death is always in our presence. It is so close. It is a possibility. Imagine yourself on the deathbed. How do you behave towards the people around you? Oh, you think you are leaving them and you can't leave this outside world, can you? But actually, what happens? You are leaving your own world you have created with the senses. And what is the wonder in Buddhotpada sermons? Actually, you won't find death. And you will come to know that death is also merely a thought. So this is a non-soul doctrine. So who is there to die? Contemplate on this. All are thoughts. Death is also a thought. And a thought, as you know by now, is an illusion, is a mirage. The more you understand about mind, your thinking pattern changes. The value given to things diminishes. So you have to be aware of the thoughts in day-to-day life. Once you practice this, it is easy to apply this in day-to-day life. If somebody understands this Dhamma, the value is gone automatically, slowly, but not overnight. There won't be internal fire burning with that inner feeling of self also diminishes. Actually, there is no self. No self originally anyway, only the vibrations. So who is here if there's no value? If mind is not there, the body is like a piece of wood. You will be doing your duties only. So in this Dhamma, listening, discussing, understanding, and contemplating is very important because this is your life story and you should know about that, isn't it? Some people say the Buddhism only speaks about dukkha or sadness. It is not like that. Buddhism talks about non-self, that there is no one to be sad at all. Everywhere you look around, you see the truth shown by Lord Buddha. Your mind is found everywhere. It is only your lack of wisdom to see this truth. If you don't see the truth about yourself, it is useless if you lived 4,000 years, isn't it? For many centuries, the true message of the Buddha was hidden. So if we say that this world you see is a world created in your own mind, would you believe it? Obviously, you will say, how is that? Say, I can see with my own eyes. Yes, but Lord Buddha said, it's your own mind creation. You can't go out of your mind. Or actually, what you think is in outside, that's not true. The mind is the experience of the five senses: eyes, ears, tongue, nose, and body, which creates the mind consciousness. Our eyes cannot see external colors. Colors are formed in our own eyes. Likewise, sound, smell, taste, and touch are formed within the senses. It's not an external experience. Our wrong notion is that we think that the external images are visible to our eyes. But that's the big illusion we have. If you actually want to get rid of this samsara, you have to understand this. You have to contemplate on this phenomena. It's a natural phenomena. No other way out of it. We can never experience what is outside. We don't say there is no outside. What we say is that we can never experience what is outside. It's only an experience of our own senses. There's nothing coming from outside. This is the very important point, that there's nothing coming from outside. What we see is our own mind, which is created by our own six senses. So as you see, every living being creates their own world according to their senses. If we take a human being, this happens due to the speedy vibration. Even the light we see is created by the speed of vibrations. What we experience is not the light of sun and moon. The nature also is just a lot of vibrations. This is a world created by vibrations. It's a world created from the senses, according to the nature of each animal. So now you understand that the nature is not a land of mountains or rivers and streams. When you contemplate on this, the wisdom arises. That is not thoughts. Thoughts takes you in the samsara. As Buddhotpada Arana explains, you can't attain Nibbana with thoughts. The path to Nibbana lies in getting rid of thoughts and open up to the wisdom. So I think it's enough for today. So try to see through Dhamma, that is non-soul Dhamma, and try to get rid of this samsara. Dhamma and you are not two separate entities. Dhamma is you. So if you want any more information about Buddhotpada Arana's sermons, you can visit the websites www.buddhotpadodhamma.com. Teruvan Saranai.
The speech is all for today. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. Arana, everyone.